A few months ago, March to be specific, Jpegmafia and Danny Brown dropped their collaborative tape, Scaring the Hoes Volume 1. And, as it's a Volume 1, and as, Jpegmafia and Danny Brown tend to also just have a bunch of tracks that they work on at any given time, it only made sense that more music would be coming. And guess what, bitch? We back with the DLC pack for Scaring the Hoes. Not quite Volume 2, but more of an addition to what we got earlier in the year. This is a cool 4-track EP, which I don't think you can necessarily add on to the back of the full album. It sounds different enough, but we'll get into that in just a second. The 4 tracks have a total runtime of about 15 minutes, so really quick and easy listen. And I think that's one of the reasons why, at least on the first handful of listens that I gave it, I felt like it may be a little bit better than the actual album. Now, with these 4 songs, we get some production that's not very reminiscent of Scaring the Hoes music. With Scaring the Hoes, the actual album, there were a lot more sounds and noises to it, where Peggy got a little more, not experimental, but more in his Peggy bag, like he was producing for himself rather than himself and Danny Brown. The difference this time around is that these beats sound more tame and normal, if that makes any sense. They still do have the weird sounds that Peggy is kind of known for including, but it's definitely more accessible, I would say, to most people. It's less loud and in your face and scary, and more just like, okay, cool, this is just Danny Brown and Jpegmafia rapping on more normal beats. The first track, guess what, bitch? We back ho. We have it start off with a sample from SpongeBob SquarePants, and I don't know how Peggy cleared that sample, if he cleared it. I'm honestly expecting this album, or at least that song, to get removed from streaming, because I don't know that anyone said that's okay. Which, I mean, regardless, I like that sample. It was funny, and just bringing it back at the very end of it makes sense. And if you know SpongeBob, this particular reference and sample and clip is from the episode where Sandy is preparing to go hibernate for winter. So having that and then naming the title, guess what, bitch? We back ho. It makes sense. It's like, hey, we returned after our brief hibernation. And I mean, sure, if you think of it as winter, it's been 3 months. It's hibernation time. Then we go into Hermanos, which sounds like Jpegmafia's best attempt at making a Griselda beat, because the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, Peggy didn't make this. Peggy would never make something like this. And then you get to the end of the track and you're like, oh wait, nope, that's definitely a Peggy song. It makes total sense. It gets loud and abrasive as we have come to expect from Peggy. Notice that I'm not talking about any of the rapping yet. That is mostly because with Jpegmafia projects in general, I tend to think of it as a whole project and more of an experience, more so than something purely lyrical. And that is the case here as well, I think. I'm going to have to take more time to actually listen to the lyrics and get an idea of 100% what's happening. But, this time around, we're not getting that weird mixing that we got with Scaring the Hoes Volume 1. So at least there's that. The next track was Tell Me Where to Go, which when I saw the title of the track pull up on the car, I just fully assumed that there was going to be a Tell Me When to Go sample. I regret to inform everyone that was not the case, but it was still good. It was still a good song. It's a weird one because it is Danny Brown in that first half of the song, but he's like speaking in a more quiet and calm sounding voice. Danny Brown is so known to have like his high pitched kind of wild sound. Like, this didn't sound like him at all, and he just kind of goes on through the majority of the track, and then Peggy comes in and has his own different rap style, and I enjoyed it. Like I thought it was pretty cool to have some change from the normal yelling and loud noises. Then the album ends with no 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 no, and it just kind of goes on until infinity. That song was interesting, and it's something that I need to return to a few more times to really form a proper opinion on it. The song, solid track. Like the production's a little bit more wonky, so it's a little more reminiscent of typical Peggy production. But after the production cuts out, we have a almost spoken word sort of bit from Danny Brown, and he just kind of goes on for the next minute and a half, and I can't tell if it was like a freestyle or just a random acapella or something that he did at a performance, like because there is echo, there is like not even reverb, it's just like a microphone echo. So either they're in a room that's not padded, or they're just putting some wild effects on it. But it was definitely interesting, and I thought it was a unique way to end the album. But again, it is something I need to go back to a few more times to really form an opinion on. Overall, I enjoyed this quick little adventure that Jpegmafia and Danny Brown gave us. It was a nice DLC pack. That's exactly what it was. It's maybe like about a third of the original album, maybe a fourth. And yeah, just good music in my opinion. Like I said at the beginning, I may like this a little bit more than the proper album, but time will tell. All things considered, I haven't really gone back to the original one. Maybe a handful of times, but since it dropped, pretty much just kind of stopped listening to it. Not because I didn't like it. I really liked it. I just want to listen to other stuff. But that's where I'll end this. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this DLC pack. It's weird to call it that. I mean, it's really just an EP, but whatever. And while you're down there, like and subscribe to see more ramblings and content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.